everyone, and welcome back to the library. I'm Lara. Today I'm going to be doing a pretty big book unhaul. My reading tastes have changed a lot in the almost 2 years that I've been watching BookTube and getting back into book reading. So I just have a pile of books here that I've decided I'm going to get rid of. I'm actually going to go take them to a bookstore I really like. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one I'm getting rid of is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And I was looking for a book to read the other day, or to listen to at work, an audiobook, and I started this one and I was like, I got a few sentences in and really wasn't enjoying how it was written, and I opened it up last night, tried to read it, and I just don't think I'd enjoy this. I know there's some people that love this book. April from Getting Hooga With It loves this, and this is also, I didn't notice when I got it, but it was like someone's from school, so there's like notes all in it and stuff, and I don't really want a book that has all of that in it anyway, so I'm gonna be getting rid of that one. Next I have Homer and Langley by E.L. Doctorow. I picked this up at a book sale, just in a stack of books, thought it might be interesting, but this is large print and I really hate reading large print. It actually kind of hurts my eyes, and I also started to read it and just wasn't really enjoying it, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and I've had this for a while and it's been on my Goodreads TBR for a long time, but I have seen some people say not so great things about it, and I started to read it, and I just don't think I'd be that interested in the story now, with how my reading tastes have changed. So this one's in really good condition. I think I got it at Goodwill. I got this at Goodwill, but it's in very good condition. So hopefully someone else can enjoy that. Next is The Paying Guest by Sarah Waters, and I just don't think I want to read this first for Sarah Waters. I want to read The Little Stranger, I believe it's called, because I've heard really good things about that one, and I've heard mixed things about this one, and that it's not as good. And I think I just enjoy the ghost story in The Little Stranger more than this one. That just seems more like historical fiction and maybe romance? I'm not sure, but I still want to read Sarah Waters, just not this one first, and I don't feel the need to have it on my shelves if I don't know how long it'll be until I get to reading it. Next, I have All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. I've read The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and I really liked that one. It's not one of my favorites. I don't think I'll ever have it on my shelves, but I've seen people have like differing opinions on this. It's more of a Western, which I don't hate, but isn't my favorite. I just don't think I'd like reading it at this time of my life, so I'm not gonna keep it. The next book I have is Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton, and this is like an old beat up copy. I started to read this and didn't like it either. I'm starting to realize I'm not a huge fan of classics. There are some I like don't get me wrong, but I don't know if you just heard the cat, but she's in the background crying. Anyways, so I just don't think, I wasn't enjoying what I read of this. It's really short, but there's no point in reading it if I'm not gonna like it. And then next, I have two books that I don't know why I kept as long as I did. I got them at a book sale. And these are two books by Dana Perino, Let Me Tell You About Jasper, and the good news is I actually got these for my parents, and then it turns out they'd already read them and didn't want them, and I definitely don't want them, so I'm getting rid of them. The next book I'm getting rid of is The Pearl by John Steinbeck. This is one of his shortest, just like a little short story novella. I read this a couple of months ago to help get me out of my slump, and it was okay. I gave it 3 stars, I believe. It wasn't my favorite. It was kind of just depressing, and I'm not sure what the message was. I still want to read more John Steinbeck, definitely. I have East of Eden up there, and I'll probably read The Grapes of Wrath someday. But I won't be keeping this one. The next book is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult, and I picked this up at a book sale. Are you done? You done? Okay. The next book is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. I picked this up at a book sale almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, right before I started booktube, I believe. And I'd never seen the movie, but I'd heard of it. But I've since decided I don't want to read Jodi Picoult. And then I saw April, I think it was April from Getting Hooga With It, said she tried to read this and hated Jodi Picoult's writing, and I probably would too, in all honesty. And I'm not that interested in the story or her books at all anymore. Next is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson, and I just read this last week, and I gave it 3 stars. It's not a bad book. It's actually an interesting story, but it was one of those that I was like, I want to know the end, so I'm not going to stop it, but I wasn't interested enough to be like super into it as it was going on, and so that's why I'm not going to keep it, because I don't think I'll ever reread it, and hopefully someone else can enjoy it. Next is White Oleander by Janet Fitch, and people were correct when they said this has flowery writing, and I don't enjoy flowery writing, so not keeping this. The next book is Final Girls by Riley Sager, or Sager, I don't know how to say it exactly. And I picked this book up like a year and a half ago at Half Price Books, but I bought it new. Like the only book I haven't really read that I've bought new, and I regretted that because I know a lot of people enjoyed this, but I did not. I tried to reread it last week to see if I wanted to keep it, and still didn't enjoy it. I ended up just looking up the ending and everything, and I'm kind of glad I didn't read through it anyway to get to that. So it's in really good condition. Like I said, it was bought new, and I barely opened it, probably read maybe 50 pages the first time I tried to read it, so hopefully someone will enjoy this. In the middle of this, I have a few nonfiction books to get rid of. I just don't really read nonfiction unless they're short, and it has to be something written like fiction, written really well. Hello, the cat is back. You can see her head, I believe. Yes, hello. I see you. Oh, okay. I think I'm not giving her enough attention. Move on. Okay, well just sit down. Or rub your face on the books. Anyways, the nonfiction books that I didn't think I was going to enjoy, so I'm getting rid of, are The Wives of Henry VIII. This is about the Wives of Henry VIII. It's huge. I was a history major in college, but don't really enjoy reading about history that much, which kind of sucks. I like learning about it, but I'm not crazy about reading, especially if it's not going to be that interesting, and if they're big chunkers. These are hard for me to read, and so, you know, I'll just do research on my own and learn about them. Next I have I Am Malala, and I picked this up at a book sale, and her story is awesome, but I just don't think I'm going to want to read about it, so I'm not keeping this one. And then lastly, the last nonfiction history book I have is Nicholas and Alexandra, and this is just like the first one about Henry VIII. I just don't think I will enjoy reading this. I mean, it has pictures and stuff in it. Like I said, I would rather just do research about it on my own and be able to read just certain parts of the story. I have a short story collection to get rid of, the 13 best horror stories of all time. And I bought this because I needed a short story collection to read for the Books in the Freezer readathon last October, and I ended up hitting my slump right at that time and read like 2 books for that readathon and then didn't read any more, and this is in bad condition. I'm not that interested in all the stories in it, and I just don't want to keep it. Next is People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks, and I just don't think I'm going to enjoy the writing in this. I tried a little of it, didn't like it, so not keeping it. I have The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. Picked this up probably a year ago. Also don't think I'm gonna like this story. I might, but I just really don't want to keep this in my collection. Maybe I'll get back to it someday and borrow it from the library or listen to the audiobook, but I don't want it on my shelves. Next, I have The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I do want to read this book. It's going to stay on my Goodreads shelf, but this is large print and it's not in good condition, so I just don't really want to keep it. Next I have Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly, and I can never remember what this is about. I'm not as interested in, I still like historical fiction a lot, but I've gotten more into fantasy, thrillers, and horrors, especially fantasy and horror. The last year have kind of fallen into my niche of that, and I can never remember what this is about, and I don't really care about it anymore, so I'm not gonna keep it. Next I have La Casa de los Espíritus, or The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende, and I bought this like a couple of months ago at a library book sale, and I was like, oh, it'll be cool to have this book in Spanish and it'll help me learn Spanish. I don't know why I did that. I still want to read this book, but not in Spanish. I need to start with easier books to get better at Spanish, so I'm not going to keep this. Hopefully someone will enjoy this. Next I have Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosnay, and this is one of the first books I bought when I was getting back into reading, and I just picked it up at like the big half-price books clearance sale without knowing much about it, and I just really am not that interested anymore and don't want to keep it. Next I have A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, and the back literally just says, Gemma Doyle isn't like other girls. It's a young adult novel. Not that I hate young adult. I have some young adult books I really love. But just from that and the story and the fact that it is a series that I don't think I would continue with anyway, I'm not keeping this. It's in good condition. Someone else can love this. I have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I've heard good things about this series, but I just don't think it's for me. I don't think it would be something I would enjoy, and this is in good condition. And someone else, I believe, will love it, but I just don't want to read it anymore and don't want to have it on my shelves. Next, I have Still Alice by Lisa Genova, and I'm not that interested in the story anymore. It sounds interesting, but it's just not something I really want to read anymore at this point, so I won't be keeping this. Next, I have The Jedi Doth Return by Ian Desher. It's like Shakespearean Star Wars, just written to be funny, basically. And I'm not going to read this. It was funny to have on my shelves. That's basically why I picked it up, because it was funny. But I don't want to have it not to read it, basically. So I'm not going to keep this. Hopefully someone else will find it funny, and maybe they could get all the parts and read them, because I mean, it is hilarious. It's just not something I want on my shelves anymore. Next, I have Good Harbor by Anita Diamant, and I read The Boston Girl last year, really loved it. I also have The Red Tent by her, which I think I'm going to enjoy, but I also picked this one up at a book sale, and I just don't think I would enjoy this one as much as the others. This is more of a contemporary, just friendship story, and that's not something I really read much, so I'm not gonna keep this one. And then lastly, I have The Cuckoo's Calling and The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, and I picked both of those up at a book sale, the last book sale I went to, and since then, I believe the last book in the series has come out, and there have been very mixed reviews. I have only heard not great things about it, that it drags on too long, and that people just didn't like it. I finally read the synopsis, which I don't think I'd done before, of the first one, and just don't feel that interested in it. Tried to read a few pages. Don't think I'm gonna enjoy these. If I ever change my mind, the library's there. I can try to read them, but I don't really want them taking up space on my shelves when I don't think I'm gonna get to them anyway. So that is my unhaul. I know there are a lot of books. I'm looking forward to getting rid of these and getting some more that I actually know I will read, or ones I already love. Thank you all so much for watching. I know it's been a while since I made a video. Life's been crazy. My husband and I have both been working a ton, and we're really tired a lot of the time. But I'm just gonna make videos for BookTube whenever I can. I do hope to be making more videos soon. Hopefully doing a February wrap-up, because I have been reading again, and hopefully I am out of this slump and the cat just knocked something off the table. Again, thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please like it, and if you want to see more from me, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you the next time I post a video. Bye.